Hey, welcome in, nieces and nephews. This is Freedom Ain't Free. I am Uncle Sam. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Like I said last time, we're going to start digging into the Bill of Rights. So if you know nothing, well, here's a chance. If you just barely remember what you learned in high school, well, here's also a chance. So I'm going to see how many of these we can get done in this first video. More than likely, this is going to take multiple parts. So let's get into it.
Freedom ain't free. Let's make 'em pay.
Brought to you by UnkleSam Presents.
Alrighty, so we have our U.S. Constitution, and after that Constitution was finished a few years later, as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and pull this up. Right, there we go. Hopefully everybody can see just fine. I've got it big. We can make it just a little bit bigger. How about that? So after the articles, we have these amendments. The first 10 amendments were known at, well, they still are known as the Bill of Rights. So a lot of us know, like, the First Amendment. We know, like, your First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of press, religion. You may even know, especially if you're conservative, heck, even if you're liberal, you know about the 2A. We know Second Amendment has to do with the right to keep and bear arms. And you probably know the Fourth Amendment about no warrantless search and seizure. The rest of them, I don't know, maybe you remember them, maybe you don't, maybe you just know them and you don't realize that's what they are. Anyways, we're going to get into some of these. So we'll just switch back over here and we're going to look at, let me move over. There we go. Is that better? I think that's better. Move that right there. All right. So First Amendment, Amendment numero uno. There we go. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So Congress cannot create a religion or make a specific religion the religion of the nation. We are not a theocracy, and no law can be written to prohibit the exercise of a religion. So we have that lovely freedom. So as long as we don't slip off into, dude, theocracies can be so scary. It's so easy to take that and be so tyrannical with it. Very few people make it. Let's move on to the second part of it. We have the prohibiting of free speech. Let's go ahead, or thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech. So no law can be written to abridge freedom of speech. Let's stop right there for a second. Okay. Yeah. All right. I do not, oh, sorry if that was loud. I do not, because I want to make sure I'm driving home my point here. I do not believe in hate speech. There should be no speech that is deemed illegal. Okay, you should have the ability to say whatever you want, however you want, about whomever you want. Okay, and that doesn't mean that people have to like it, and it doesn't keep people from responding or reacting to said speech. So it's like, you make a really dumb racist comment, you might get punched in the face. Like, that's like, just because you can freely say something doesn't mean that you should. Okay, but I believe that you should be able to. I don't believe in hate speech. I don't believe in making any type of speech illegal, like I said, because I want to continue saying whatever it is that I want to say. So I am cool with you saying whatever it is that you want to say, and we should just keep it that way. Whenever you start stepping over and saying, I can't say this, or if I step over and say, you can't say that, then all we're doing is treading on each other, and we're never going to get anywhere. At some point or another, violence comes into play. That's how it is with laws. Oh, so I did want to mention there is a clause about inciting switch over. See if I can just place my mouse right there. I forgot it said that. So speech, we're talking about the Brandenburg Test. So speech that incites violence is generally protected by the First Amendment unless it meets the strict criteria of this Brandenburg Test that was established by Brandenburg versus Ohio 1969. Under this test, speech loses constitutional protection and can be punished only if it is directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. And they give some examples where imminence is required, intent, and likelihood. So this example here says, for example, statements like "we'll take the effing street later" in this certain court case, Hess versus Indiana, are protected because they do not call for immediate disorder. Let me see if I can scroll past that nice F-bomb there. Okay. Intent and likelihood. Like I said, speaker must intend for violence to occur immediately in the context, must make it likely that the audience will engage in such action. Emotional, rhetoric, or offensive speech alone, such as NAACP versus Claiborne hardware, remains protected. Other protected categories, anyways. So state and federal laws, such as the Federal Anti-Riot Act, criminalize incitement, but are subject to the First Amendment limitations. So you can say whatever you want, but like I said, it doesn't mean that there won't be a response, and it doesn't mean that you won't be held responsible for saying the things that you do. That includes like defamation, libel, things of that nature. So one of the reasons that I sort of jest about us not being a free nation is because of recent arrests, incarcerations, deportations of U.S. citizens over protests, speeches, or articles written about a certain religion, ethnicity, nation state that shall not being mentioned on this program because the alphabet overlords sensitivity over the matter. And I'm not talking about the ABC, LF, what is it? LB, LBJK, LBGQ. Anyways, those people, no, not talking about those. I'm talking about Google. This is on YouTube. So there's some things that we do have to censor ourselves because you can say whatever you want, but there will be penalties and there will be consequences to bashing and speaking against, not even bashing, just speaking the truth about certain groups of people. So we do have a rule set there. So let's move on to the rest of this. So the right of the people to peaceably assemble. So you can protest. You can peacefully protest, or like in the summer. Oh, I forgot to mention this up here on the press. Let me back up just for a second. Freedom of the press. We did have some stuff happen recently. I forgot to jump over to this. Freedom of the press, that is journalists or whatever is posing as a journalist these days, right? We recently had Trump's DOJ go after the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. I hope you can read that. I may have to zoom that in a little bit. No, is it good? So right here, we're reading where the Department of Justice had to withdraw subpoenas in June 2026. This is July 4th. Today is July 4th, 2026. So at the end of last month, they had to withdraw these subpoenas that they put in because they raided a home. Like it says right here, they raided the home in January of this year of a Washington Post reporter. And what they're trying to do is get them to identify sources because they claimed that this action was followed an aggressive leak investigation under the Trump administration, which reportedly included President Trump personally urging officials to pursue the reporters by labeling their work treason. He didn't like what they had to say, so they're now going to be considered that of treasonous dissent. And so they attempted And all of this is because these attempts were facilitated by a May 25 reversal of Biden era protections, where attorney Pam Bondi rescinded policies previously limiting the seizure of journalist records. While the subpoenas were withdrawn after legal challenges, the administration maintains it will continue investigating government employees who leak classified information. So this is to attacking whistleblowers, which that is not a new thing. That has been common practice for as long as there have been whistleblowers. You have had those that are having the whistle blown upon them, trying to silence said whistleblowers. We do have whistleblower laws and protections for people that come out and speak against something that is going on that is illegal. Like I said, just because you say it doesn't mean that there won't be somebody that has a response to it. So now getting back to the what were we talking about? Was it peaceful protests? That's right. So some of you may remember some of these images. They are from 2020. You notice this fantastic little banner right here. And then we also had this little screenshot from this fiery but mostly peaceful protest. This is going to those peaceful protests. It's this was such a joke, dude. Oh, it's mostly peaceful, except all that that's burning behind me, bro. As soon as cars get set on fire, it is no longer peaceful. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. You notice it did say protest after a police shooting. So police shoot somebody. So it's like, okay, let's burn down this place. We're going to burn down buildings. We're going to burn down cars. We're going to burn everything. We're going to break into buildings. We're going to steal. I mean, we're going to loot. We are going to remove. We are going to free. We are going to liberate. We're going to liberate the goods that are inside of this store because, well, we can't afford to buy them, so we're going to break in and steal stuff. Anyway, so this, I thought this was funny. I pressed the wrong button. Shoot, I was hoping I didn't have to edit this. Well, dadgum. Oh well. So here we have, like I said, these mostly peaceful protests. All right, so finally, the second part of, or the final part of Amendment 1, the petition to petition the government if we have any grievances, which is kind of funny. I mean, you can do it. They can spray you with a fire hose or set up idiots in riot gear or censor you or jail you. But I mean, anyways, let's move on to Mr. 2A here. As we all have heard it said before, Mr. 2A, this Second Amendment. Notice it says a well-regulated militia. Remember, at the time of this being written, the United States didn't have an army. It was militia. It was militias that were set up. You know, whenever stuff went down, you would have certain people within the town that would, boom, they'd roll in. They would show up with their muskets and their guns and knives and whatever, and they would handle business, right? And so because the musket was so easy to procure and whatnot at that time, we actually were able to have this American Revolution, which was bloody, nasty. But because guns were cheap and easier to get, then we could actually fight back. The people could fight back. So like it says, being necessary to the security of a free state. We'll leave that part highlighted right there. Free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. Oh, I want to highlight this too. Can we do this? Shall not be infringed. So we're talking about a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed. So what this is basically saying is that every single gun law is illegal, all of them. Even the one about felons, I strongly disagree with that one, especially. It kind of hits home. Any type of infringement is deemed illegal according to this document, which I'm no longer pointing at. There we go. There it is. Whoop. There it is right there. So maybe if it said Congress shall make no law in front of this, like it does in a lot of these other places, then maybe we would have stood a chance. But instead, we have all these crappy gun laws, right? But it's all horse crap. Let's see. A free state needs to have the ability to ensure its security. And right now, we have worse criminals than I have ever been, reigning on high, keeping us from being a truly free state. If you have questions, well, just look at your politician. Look at who he's rubbing elbows with. Look at who she's rubbing elbows with. Look at who they are receiving money from. That's who we're talking about here. What's crazy is that here in my state, the state of Texas, there are between 32 and 55 million firearms. Okay. That's just here in Texas. Of course, AR-15s don't stand much chance against jet fighters, Predator drones, and like Abrams tanks, those things that would be sent out against us if we did decide to do an American Revolution Part 2. Anyways, I think that anybody should be able to own any kind of gun. I should be able to own any kind of gun I want. And I don't know, I could possibly see limiting an age 16, you know. But this is also why we should teach gun safety to our children and not let them think that these are scary devices. They can be, but we have to respect the firearm and treat it as the tool that it is designed to be. I'm not really sure about the 3D printing aspect of printing guns. I don't know much about that. My only concern would be from a safety aspect, but I mean, I guess as long as it doesn't hurt innocent people, you feel free to blow your own hand off or worse, whatever. That's up to you. Rock out with your socks out, bro. Do your thing. The whole registering weapons is bull crap also. Those people that want to be law-abiding citizens are the only ones who are doing so. They are the only ones who are affected in the gun laws. So the gun restriction, it's only putting restrictions on law-abiding people. It doesn't keep the guns out of the gangsters' hands. It doesn't keep the guns out of the criminals' hands because they're criminals. They're doing stuff illegally anyway. So it's like, anyways, limiting how many semi-autos a person can have or the whole bump stock thing. That's ridiculous. Like, they're trying to make a law. They were making laws to stop something that they didn't even know what in the world it was in the first place. Or even suppressors. I mean, silencers. I mean, it's a suppressor. Hollywood, yeah, has y'all thinking that an average suppressor can make a 45 sound like a blow dart gun. I have recently seen videos of some that are pretty quiet, but Lord knows how much they cost, and you know they don't last forever. So what does the ATF do except oppress people? They should have been disbanded especially after the Waco massacre back in 1993. 82 people died for no reason, and I know you're like, Sam, but it was 86 people that died that, and I was like, yeah. But I said there was only 82 that died for no reason. The FBI rolled up using friggin' tanks to shoot tear gas. That's right. Tanks, armored tanks. They're rolling up on citizens of this supposed free nation. That was over 30 years ago. Don't even look into the MOVE bombing of 1985. I mean, dang, like, I actually wasn't alive yet because it took place in like May or something, or March, or anyway, at the beginning of the year. I wasn't born into July. So anyway, I'm not going to say anything else about it except police, helicopter, boom, boom, boom. Neighborhood vanished. So, dang, yeah, I knew it was going to take up quite a bit of time. We will probably we're going to probably move past like the Third Amendment because it really doesn't, well, if we get to a point where we have to worry about the Third Amendment, then we're screwed anyways, dude, because, pull it up real quick. Third Amendment, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house. So this is talking about, soldiers hijacking your house without consent. So let's just not even get to that point. Cool. Okay. Well, We will pick up with the Fourth Amendment, which is warrantless searches and seizures next time, because this one might take a little while too. So that's going to be it for this episode. All right, class, we will continue next time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. I am Uncle Sam, and this is Freedom Ain't Free. Peace. Hey guys, don't forget to set your notifications. This video was originally uploaded from Freedom Ain't Free 1776, an Uncle Sam Presents video. Copyright 2026, Uncle Sam Presents.